We'll proceed in summation and integral calculus. Summation and integral calculus, very difficult discussion we are pursuing. Summation and integral calculus. Okay, how I can solve my problem by dividing the problem into n different parts. How I can solve my problem How I can solve my problem by dividing the problem into n different parts. Okay, when n different part is done, then solve part by part. Okay, and then you sum it. Solve part by part, and then you sum it. Okay, this is called solving any problem by dividing into n parts. If I divide into n part and then I sum it, then I get the solution. Okay, uh, sum it for the n different part. There are chances where n tends to infinity I have to make. Not everywhere. Not everywhere it is required that n tends to infinity. Like one example we had given, where n tends to infinity is required, like calculating the circumference of a circle. When we know how to calculate length of a vector, okay, length of a line, consider I know the what is the length of a straight line. If I know how to calculate length of the straight line, then can I calculate the circumference of a circle? I know length of a straight line, that I know. I don't know how to calculate length of a curved line. Still, can we calculate the circumference of a circle? That is a very big thing. If someone understands from the kind of complexity of the problem, the description of the problem, I know how to measure length of a straight line. I know I know how to measure length of a straight line. If someone gives me 2 points, if someone gives me 1 point here and 1 point here, if someone gives me 2 points, I can calculate a straight line length. If I know calculation of a straight line, can I calculate the length of this circumference of a circle? That is a question. Okay. I can divide into four parts. Many times I have talked about it. What is four parts? This is x-axis and this is y-axis. One part is from here to here, here to here, here to here, here to here. I can calculate the one part length like this, straight line, straight line, straight line, straight line. I can add all four straight lines to have the circumference of a circle. Anyone would say, boss, it is not perfect. You calculated four straight line length, but it is not the circumference of a circle. Then instead of calculating four straight line length, I divide circumference into 16 parts. Then it will be a small straight line. I have to calculate the length. Still, it is not perfect, but it will be near to the solution. Now I can write summation of I equal to 1 to n. Summation of I equal to 1 to n. And then length of ith section. If I divide into 16 parts, then length of the ith section. Ith section length is the ith section. This is the first point. This is the second point. What is the straight line that is connecting the first point and the next point? That is straight line length. 16 straight line length I am now connecting, but still it will be approximation one. Okay, let's divide into 10,000 parts. Still it will be approximation only. I want exact length of the circumference of a circle. Then it will be summation I equal to 1 to n, where 1 to n and the length of the ith section, where n tends to infinity. If n tends to infinity, length of ith section will be tends to 0. That manner it will be exact solution, because infinity means infinity. Then it will be exact solution of it. Here, what two things we are seeing here? First, we are dividing the problem into n different parts. Once I divide problem into n different parts, I calculate the length of part by part. Then I add it. Then if I feel it is still approximation, it is not the exact solution, then we go and we change n tends to infinity. If n tends to infinity, then we have to land up in calculus, integral calculus. Okay, then only n tends to infinity we can calculate. Or, okay, that is the one thing. Other thing to land up in the, now there are two ways to get the ith section. Ith section length if I want, there are two ways to it. One way is algebraic way. One way to calculate the ith section length is algebraic way. Another way is vector way. That we will talk. Algebraic way and vector way to calculate the length of the ith section and then sum it, n tends to infinity, then bring it into integral calculus and you get the net length of the circumference. That is the one area. Other area is we don't need. Other area is we don't need n tends to infinity. That can be other scenario also where we don't need where n tends to infinity. And in that region, we have now kind of in a war scale, we are making computation. Take one example now again. Consider I have a set of coins. Okay, I have many coins. Okay, I believe rather than taking many coins, I have set of coins. Okay, generally I have three coins. One coin, second coin, third coin. I have set of coins. This is three coins. Three coins. Consider I throw this coin. I toss this coin and this coin fall and then coin fall in a straight line. Then from left to right, I start watching it if it is head or tail. There are n number of coins. N number of coin I am throwing it. It is coming in a straight line from left to right. I can assess what it is. If it comes ahead, if it comes ahead, then I select any number between 0 to 1. Make sense? Okay. I have an infinite numbers between 0 to 1, including 0 and 1. In between, I have fractional number 0.001, 0.002, 1. I'm sorry, 0.51. Like that, there are innumerous number is possible if I take floating point in term of computer science, or if I take a fractional number in terms of mathematics, then between 0 and 1 there can be innumerous numbers. Innumerous. Okay. I select any one of them. If it is not digestible, then I would say I divide 0 to 1 into 100 parts. Now there are numbers in 100 parts. Between 0 to 0.1, there are 10 numbers. 0.1 to 0.2, there are 10 numbers. 0.9 to 1.0, there are 10 numbers. There are 100 numbers between 0 and 1. Similarly, I have another range of number that is 3 and 4. Between 3 and 4, I have 100 numbers. Okay. Whenever I see head, whenever I see head, then I select at random any number from 0 to 1. Makes sense? If I see it is a tail, then I select any number between 3 and 4. Any number out of 100 number what we have talked now. Any number between 3 and 4. If it comes head, then any number between 0 and 1. If it comes tail, then any number between 3 and 4. Now tell me that if I pass through all three coins, I have three coins in my hand. These are the Indian paisa, but it is not paisa. This is 1 rupee coin. Earlier 25 paise when I was a small child. At that time, 25 paise coin was much better than this 1 rupee coin today. Much better. Okay, anyway, 50 paise means if I if any children is getting 50 paise means he is very rich. In 50 paise he can buy many things. That was the time. I believe our higher generation for them 1 rupee was very big thing. But anyway, now it is 1 rupee coin. It is 1 rupee coin, and I have third coin that is also 1 rupee coin. Now, if three coins, if I toss, then it falls in a straight line. Luckily, then I pass through the coin. If it comes head, I select any number between 0 to 1. If it comes tail, then I select any number between 3 and 4. Makes sense? Then next coin I see, then next coin see. Like that, there are n number of coins. I start from begin to end. Tell me What is the number I have in my hand? I keep adding it. First coin, it comes head. I select any number between 0 to 1. I note it down. Then next coin, I select next coin, it comes tail. Then I select any number randomly between 3 and 4. I note it down. Like that, I note it down for all head and tail. Tell me at the end of n coin, whatever has come, what is the average I get? Okay, what is the average I get? Average I get is whatever I have summed up, divide by n. That is the average I am getting. I believe it is all right. Okay, how to find it? Do you have any simpler example? Simple example I have already given. Simplest example, two simple example. In comparison to these two simple examples, I have already placed. If it comes head, if it comes head, consider I have some C dollar in my hand. I have C dollar amount in my hand. Now I start seeing from left to right. If it comes head, C dollar will become double. Whatever I have in my hand, it will become double. So C will become 2C. Next coin I am checking. If it is next coin is tail. If any coin is tail, whatever dollar amount I have, it will become half. First coin was head, it becomes C to 2C. Next coin is tail, it becomes C back. If next coin is tail again, it becomes C by 2. Next coin is head, it becomes double, C again. Again next coin is head, it becomes 2C. Again next coin is head, it becomes 4C. Again next coin is head, it becomes 8C. If it comes tail after that, then 8C will become 4C, 4C will become 2C, 2C will become C, C will become 1 by C by 2, C by 2 would become C by 4, C by 4 would become C by 8. Tell me, I started with the C dollar, at the end of n coin, what will be my dollar amount? This is another question that anyone can think of. These are the example that is extremely not solvable. Anyone can try. It is extremely difficult to assess. Then someone would say, I think it is easy. Just think that how many heads are coming and how many tails are coming. If head count is x, then it will be c into 2 to the power x. If tail count is, then tail count will be n minus x. Then it will be into 1 by 2 to the power n minus x. The net dollar amount is C into 2 to the power x into 1 by 2 to the power n minus x. If someone apply more mind here, that will be the net. Now question is arising that on an average, now question is coming to number of head and tail. On an average, how many head you are getting and how many tail you are getting on an average. Leave the tail because I know tail will be n minus x only. On an average, how many heads you are getting? On an average. First time you throw n number of coin. Second time you throw n number of coin. Third time you throw n number of coin. On an average, how many heads you are getting? If I estimate that, then it is easy now. Now anyone throw the coin on an average, I expect that this much head will come. Then c into 2 to the power x. If consider x amount of head comes on an average, then c into 2 to the power x, 1 by 2 to the power n minus x is the money I can expect after any toss. What is the average number of head I expect? Then we give the now beyond this what I am talking, it is probably not available in any of the book. Now consider what is the count of head I am expecting. Take a dice. Take a dice which has n plus 1 faces. A coin has two faces. A coin has two faces. That is called head or tail. Normal die has six faces, 1 to 6. Take a die which has n plus 1 faces. That is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, n. N plus 1 faces. Each talks about the number of head. If I throw the dice, if it comes 0, then I say number of heads, it is similar to if I throw n number of coin, number of head appeared as 0. If you throw a dice and it comes as consider n is 10. Consider n is 10. You throw the dice and it comes 8. Then it is same as you throw n number of coin and 8 coins are appearing head. Okay. Now you tell me what is average number of head that you are getting. That is the question mark. We will go back to our same example that in every class or every session we take. That is the student example. That in a classroom there are n number of students are there, and they appeared in an examination and it has 0 to 10 marks. Every student is getting 0 to 10 marks. I want to calculate average marks of the class. Then I take marks x. I take marks axis, and against each mark, 0 mark, 1 mark, 2 mark, 3 mark, 10 mark, I am trying to calculate how many students are there. For 0 mark, I asked in a class that students who have got 0 marks, can you stand up? Okay, now 5 students stand up and there are n students. In that fashion, I would say that against 0 mark, I will mark a straight line. This is marks axis and this is students axis, y axis. Now against 0 marks, I'll say there is a line and length is 5 by n. 5 by n. 5 by n is the probability of getting 0 marks. Out of all the marks, if I take about the weightage, there is something called weightage. At which marks maximum students are there? Weightage of that marks is maximum. Means average mark will roam around the high weightage marks. Okay. 0 marks has how many weightage? 0 marks. Now I am coming to next stage. 0 marks, how many students are there? That is 5. What is the weightage of 0 marks, or what is probability of 0 marks? Then it will be 5 by n if n number of students are there. How at 1, 20 students are standing up. Then weightage or probability of 20 of 1 marks is 20 by n. At 2 it is 10 by n. At 3 it is 5 by n. At 0 it is 4 by n. If I add all the heights, it will become n. It will become n number of students. Up. It will really become n? No, it will become 1. Net probability is 1. Okay, here probability is 5 by n, 20 by n, 10 by n, 4 by n, 20 by n, 10 by n, 4 by n, like that up to 10. If I add all the probability, it will become n by n, 1 probability. That is the weightage. A mark that is getting highest weightage, the average will roam around it. Anyway, please calculate the average mark. Average marks will be at 0. 0 into 4 by n plus 1 into, okay, if everyone gets 0, then the 0 into n by n, that is 0. Means average marks is 0. 0 into 4 by n plus 1 into 20 by n plus 2 into 10 by n plus 3 into 5 by n, like that. If you add, you are multiplying the probability with the marks, and then what you add, you get the average mark. It is similar to, there is a die. I throw the die. In die there are 11 faces, 0 to 10. If it comes 10, it is addressing the marks 10. What is probability of getting 10 as a dice? If dice is fair dice, probability of getting 10 is 1 by 11. If it is a not, here it is not a fair dice. Now in this approach, I went bottom to top. And every book, every example are solved through bottom to top approach. In no book I have found that best books in the world. No book I have found that there is an approach that is top to bottom. There is always bottom to top. That is marks to probability. What is the average mark? Average marks is marks into probability. Marks into probability. Marks into probability plus marks into probability. You have to add 11 times if there are 11 marks you are talking. If you add, you get the average mark. No one talks about top to bottom approach. Top to bottom approach is that if you get in a dice 10, 10 means it corresponds to 10 marks. If in a dice it comes 4, it corresponds to 4 marks. Okay, what is the probability of dice when it comes as 10? It comes at 10, 1 by 11. If it is a fair dice, consider it is not a fair dice. Consider there are 30 students, they got 10 marks out of n. What is the probability at 10? 30 by n. It is as good as if I draw a dice, then getting 10 out of 0 to 10, getting 10, the probability, getting 10, probability, I'm sorry, getting 10, the probability is 30 by n. There is some value called 30 by n. Getting 2 probability is 20 by n. It is not a fair dice. Getting 2 probability is 20 by n. Getting 0 probability is 4 by n. Getting 3 probability is 5 by n. Getting 2 probability is 10 by n. Getting 10 probability is 30 by n, like that. It is a biased one. So the if 10 marks has the highest probability, then there is a good chance that if someone is died it 100 times, maximum it will appear at 10 only out of all, because 10 has the maximum probability. If it is a fair dice, then out of 100 you can divide by 11, that many times every number will come. Now I am asking one thing: if it comes 10, then what you will do? If it comes then 10, then what you will do? If it comes 9, then what you will do? If it comes 3, then what you will do? It comes 1, then what you will do? If it comes 10, then I will multiply it by 10. Whatever the probability of 10 is, I will multiply by 10. If it comes 3, then whatever the probability of 3, I will multiply by 3. This is the top to bottom approach. One is the, at marks 3, what is the probability? At marks 4, what is the probability? Marks into probability plus marks into probability plus marks. You have to multiply and then add 11 times. It will give you the average mark. There is a bottom to top approach. If consider all 11 is a dice now, face of dice now. If it comes 10, what you will do? I'll multiply whatever the probability of getting 10. I'll multiply it by 10, like that. Okay, if you do like this and add for all the faces, you will get again average marks. Well, we will use that approach. How to calculate the average, what we are trying, how to calculate the average dollar. If I am talking about a dollar will become double, if I throw a number of coins, a dollar will become double. When there is a head and it will become half, whatever right now is, when it sees tail. Okay, now it is as now the concept is lying on how many heads you are getting, how many tails you are getting, how many heads you are getting, and how many tails you are getting. Now it depends upon that we get the dollar value. Okay, now leave the tail because tail is tied to the head only. If head comes x, then tail is n minus x. Okay, now there are n plus 1. I have a dice now, dice, and it has n plus 1 faces. If it appears n, then number of heads are n. If it appears 0 in the dice, number of head is 0. Makes sense? Okay, now question arises now. If dice is showing 0, what you will do? We are trying to calculate the multiplication factor, average multiplication factor for the dollar. If dollar is C, it should be multiplied by how much? If out of n coin, x number of heads are coming, or if I toss n coin, if I toss n coin on an average, if I enter with the C dollar, how much it will become on an average? Okay, if I know the average, then if I know the average and consider it is less than C, I'll get. I made a formulation in a way. Okay, then if someone enters with C, then he will exit with C less than, little less than C. Now I have made a game now. I have made a game now. The game is like there are n number of coins and people are throwing it in the game. And then it is like that only. How many heads you are getting, it will become double, it will become whatsoever. And how many tail you are getting, it will become whatsoever. Many people they may earn. Okay, number of head will be more than tail and they will earn. But on an average, maximum people will lose the game because on an average C dollar will become less than C. Let's see in this case, C dollar will become how much if that is the criteria of the game. Okay. Now if I toss n number of coin, or if I toss a die which has a faces 0 to n, then if 0 comes, what you will do? That is equivalent to 0 number of head are coming. Then what you will do? If that is coming, then I will do 1 by 2 to the power n. Means the dollar will get multiplied with 1 by 2 to the power n if 0 head come. Okay, what if x number of head are coming? Means if I throw a dice, then x is coming on the dice. X is anything between 0 and n. Means if x comes on the die, then the dollar will get multiplied by 2 to the power x into 1 by 2 to the power n minus x. This is what I'll do. If dice has x in number on its face, that is 0 to n, x is a number on its face, then what you will do? If I have a dollar of worth c, that will become c multiplied by 2 to the power x into 1 by 2 to the power n minus x. This is what I'll do. Okay, if you add for all x, then you get the average multiplication factor. If you add for, I'm sorry, if you add for whatsoever, add or multiply, that we will see. Okay, what is the multiplication? Okay, for I'm really sorry. Okay, if you add all, consider in this fashion. If you add all, if in a die, if 0 comes, then what you will do? In a die, 1 comes, what you will do? In a die, in a die, in a die, x comes, what you will do? Okay, now this is the, let's write the formula for it. Let's write the formula for it. Okay, whatever I'm trying to say. Okay, what I'm trying to say, that if die shows x, if I toss a die and it shows x, what you will do? Then I will multiply my dollar with 2 to the power x into 1 by 2 to the power n minus x. This is what I'll do if x number of head are appearing. Okay, now to get the average, average, this is called multiplication factor. What you will do, that is the multiplication factor with the c down, c into 2 to the power x into 1 by 2 to the power n minus x is the multiplication factor of the c. C will get multiplied by this factor if number of heads are coming as x. Okay, now I have to add probability into multiplication factor. What we will do? Not multiplication factor. If I have a die, and with each probability I multiply by, what you will do? Like in the student example, if die is coming 10, then what you will do? I'll multiply with the 10. If die is coming 9, what you will do? I'll multiply with the 9. Multiply all this and then sum it, you will get the average marks. Probability into what you do, if you sum it, you will get what you do average. Okay, if I say, if I toss a die and x number of head is appearing, any x, in a student example, if x is appearing on the die, I'll multiply with x, probability of x appearing, multiply with the x. Okay, keep changing the x value and then finally you add it. This die has 0 to 10 value. Now with the n number of coin, die has 0 to n value. If it appears x, what you will do? Now sum it for all the x. Okay, then what you will do? You will get that average. In marks, you will get the marks for that particular mark. If it appears 10, then for 10 marks, what is the probability into 10? You will get the total weightage of the 10 marks. You add it, you get the average. Here, if it appears 10x, then what you will do? 2 to the power x into 1 by 2 to the power n minus x. Sum it, you will get the net c will become average. C will become how much? That will become summation x equal to 0 to n. X equal to 0 to n. Okay, if it is only x, if I throw n number of coin and number of head is appearing x, or if I draw a dice, the face that is showing is x. Okay, Then first you tell me what is probability of x. I'll tell you what is probability of x. Then multiplied by what you do. This is the multiplication factor of the dollar. If x number of heads are coming, makes sense? It is crystal clear. If I throw an n number of coin, a number of head is appearing x, or if I throw a dice and face it is appearing x, calculate the probability of getting x number of heads. If you get the probability, multiply with what you do. Okay, if you multiply with the what you would do, then that will be called scaling factor of the dollar. That much dollar will get scaled up to become a new dollar amount. Okay, now calculate the probability of getting x number of head. Please watch our previous video. We have done it. That will be NCX, N combination X. If P is the probability of getting head, if I toss a coin and probability of getting head is P, getting tail is 1 minus P, then it will be NCX P to the power X 1 minus P to the power N minus X, because if there are X number of heads are appearing, then the number of head is X, the number of tail is N minus X. Okay, in that fashion it will be P to the power X 1 minus P to the power N minus X. Okay, this is for X number of head. This is the probability. I'm sorry, it will be NCX P to the power X 1 minus P to the power N minus X. This is called probability of getting X number of head. What you will do? Multiply by 2 to the power X 1 by 2 to the power N minus X. Now sum it for all X. Okay, that will give you the exact multiplication fact. That will be summation X equal to 0 to N 2 to the power X into 1 by 2 to the power N minus X. This is portion that says what you will do. Next portion is probability of getting X, that is NCX P to the power X 1 minus P to the power N minus X. Okay, this is the net pro this is the average multiplication factor for the C. This, if someone has C dollar and he is throwing n number of coin, then from left to right, if it passes through this amount what we talked now, summation x equal to 0 to n, x to the power n, I'm sorry, 2 to the power x 1 by 2 to the power n minus x, and then NCX P to the power x 1 minus P to the power n minus x. Okay, this will give the multiplication factor of C dollar when it passes through the n number of coins. Someone can calculate. Now we are talking about dividing problem into n parts. Just solve it for one coin only. Then we will do for rest of the coin. Let's use the same formula for one coin. Same formula for one coin. I talked about that formula for n number of coins. Okay. Formula for n number of numbers, 0 to 10 numbers. Okay. Now n number of coin. Let's take for one coin. If it is one coin, then it is. Now there are two possibilities. Head count will be 0 or head count will be 1. There are only two possibilities possible. Summation x equal to 0 to 1, 2 to the power x, 1 by 2 to the power n minus x, or 1 minus x, ncx, 1cx, p to the power x, 1 minus p to the power 1 minus x. If x is 0, it will come as 2 to the power 0, this 1. 1c0, 1. P to the power 0, 1. 1 minus p to the power 1. It will come as, I'm sorry, I'll rewrite it. When x is 0, 2 to the power x is 1. 1 minus p to the, I'm sorry, 1 by 2 to the power 1, n minus x, 1 minus 0. It will be 1 by 2 to the power 1. 1 by 2 will be there. 1c0, 1. P to the power 0, 1. 1 minus p to the power 1. So it will come as 1 by 2, 1 minus p. I believe it is alright. Now sum it. When x equal to 1, okay, in that sense 2 to the power 1, 1 by 2 to the power 0, it will become 2. 1c1, that is again 1. 2 to the power 1. 1 minus p to the, I'm sorry, p to the power 1. 1 minus p to the power 0. It will become 2p. It will become 2p plus 1 minus p by 2. If someone solve it, it will become 3 by 2p, 3 by 2p plus 1 by 2. I think so. Okay. It will become 2p plus 1. I'm sorry, 2p plus 1 by 2, 1 minus p. This is the multiplication factor for the one coin I am getting. No, I want multiplication factor for all coin in one go. Then I have given the formula x equal to 0 to n. Summation x equal to 0 to n. 2 to the power x, 1 by 2 to the power n minus x, ncx p to the power x, 1 minus p to the power n minus x. If I have set 2 somewhere, it is p. Oh, sorry. Summation x equal to 0 to n, 2 to the power x, correct. 1 by 2 to the power n minus x, ncx p to the power x, 1 minus p to the power n minus x. Okay. Now for one coin, it became 2p plus 1 by 2, 1 minus p. 2p plus 1 by 2 minus p by 2. It will be 3p by 2 plus 1 by 2. This is what it will be. 3p by 2 plus 1 by 2. This is the multiplication factor of one coin. If I know multiplication factor of one coin, means if my dollar is passing through, it will become 3p by 2 plus 1 by 2 times more. If it passes through n coin, then the dollar will be c into 3p by 2 plus 1 by 2 to the power n. That many times it will become. This is dividing the problem into n parts. Someone can take p any value and solve it. Now question is arising to our original problem. Original problem is that if it comes head, then I get a random number between 0 to 1. If it comes tail, then I get random number between 3 and 4. If that is the case, then I start from the beginning. Then if it comes head, I select any random number from 0 and 1. If it comes tail, then I select any random number 3 and 4, and then I keep adding it. Tell me, I'm not multiplying it. Anyone can multiply also. I keep adding it. At the end, tell me what is the number I have in my head after n coin. That is the question now. Same thing we will try now. What is probability of getting n number of head? If I probability of getting n number of head, getting probability n number, I'm sorry, x number. There are n coin and probability of getting x number of head. Then it will be n minus x tail. What is the probability of getting x number of head? That is ncx p to the power x 1 minus p to the power n minus x, where p is probability of for a single coin to come head or tail. Okay, if this is the probability, what you would do? If this is the probability of getting number of head, then what I would do? Okay, if there is one head, then I select. Then if there is one head, then I select one random number from the 0 to 1. Okay, on an average, I will select x time random number from 0 to 1. What is average of the random number from 0 to 1? If I know average number, then I'll multiply it by x. This x into it will become, I'm sorry, if I am getting x number of head, then x into what is the average I expect I get from the 0 to 1. If I select any random number, what is the average I'll get? Average into x plus 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 n plus, I'm sorry, plus how many tails are there? N minus x. N minus x into how much average I get between 3 to 4 if I select. That will become a kind of what I get. Okay, I'm sorry, I'll redefine it. How to calculate the average of something? First, you get the probability of that, multiply by that, or if you have this much probability, what you do? Then sum it for all the things, the way we did. Like in the student mark, what is the probability of getting 10? 9. Then what you do? 10, then multiply by this. 9, then multiply by 9. You add it, you get the average. Similarly, here also, if you get X number of head, or if you have a die, between 0 to n, and if you throw the die, if you throw the die, then what it will appear? If it appears x, then what is probability of getting x? If it is a fair coin, then probability of fair die, then probability of getting x is 1 by n plus 1. It is not fair. Consider. Then what is? Then if you get x, get the probability of getting x, multiply it by what you would do. I would what I do. Okay, between 0 to 1, between 0 to 1, I'll choose x time, then I'll add it. Makes sense? First, I'll choose any number from 0 to 1 and note it down. Then I choose any number from 0 to 1 and note it down. And that I'll do x time. Plus, I'll choose any number between 3 to 4 and note it down. I'll choose any number between 3 and 4, I'll note it down. That I'll do n minus x time. Then I'll add together. This is what I'll do. Okay, now consider that in die you are getting 0 to n. Now calculate for 0 to n, sum it for 0 to n. You will get average what you get. That is summation x equal to 0 to n. Then what you would do? What you would do? Then probability of x, that is ncx p to the power x 1 minus p to the power n minus x. Okay, very difficult. Very difficult. Okay, do it for one coin. Then we will sum it. This is called dividing problem into n part. Do it for one coin. If it is one coin, then it is summation x equal to 0 to 1, because number of head will appear as 2 times only. One is number of head is 0. One is number of head is 1. If it is 0, what you will do? If it is 1, then what you will do? If it is 0, what we said? X time, what is the average you get from 0 to 1? That is 0. That is 0. Means x is 0, x time means this part is not contributing anything. So here, what is the probability and what you do? What you do, there is a bracket now. In that bracket, what you do if it is head, what you do, it is tail. If it is x amount of head is there, you multiply x with what is the average you get 0 to 1 plus n minus x, multiply how much, what is the average you get between 3 and 4. So x is 0, then first term will be 0 plus n minus x, that is 1 now. 1, n is 1. What is the average value? What is the average value you expect? You expect between 3 and 4. What is the average value you expect between 3 and 4? Okay, that comes in a question mark. What is the average value you calculate? To calculate the average value, this is something like a meta kind of question or recursive question. Now it is again coming to average value. Anyway, we are calculating average value. Inside that again we have average value. Okay, if I randomly, if I pick any number between 3 and 4, what is the average number I'll get? Make sense? Now we are going inside that problem. What is the average number I get? To get the average number, now what is the average marks we get? At mark 0, what is the probability? What is at mark x, what is the probability? If these I denote as x, then probability I can denote as fx. It will be summation of x fx. This is what we are doing. Or integration of x fx dx from this point to this point. If fx, what we are saying, that is the height, if that is in a continuous function, if that is the case, then it will appear as the x fx dx from 3 to 4. What is fx? What is fx means what is the probability of choosing any number between 3 and 4. There are 100 numbers we have talked earlier. Between 3 and 4, there are 100 numbers. If talk about the continuous probability graph, then choosing any number is equal probability. We'll talk about discrete and continuous probability drawing a graph. If number of students, if I talk about the probability of getting any marks, then we talk about the probability of students against that mark. These are called discrete numbers. If I touch all the top points, it will give a function, but there will be discrete function. There is something called continuous function. That is different. Here I can to get the average number from 3 to 4, I can pick any time, and then I multiply with the probability and then sum it. That is the average that we have learned. Or if someone has the continuous function equation, then it will be x fx dx, and x is from lower limit to higher limit, or summation x fx. This is what we are doing. Fx means probability into x, what you will do, summation, or integration x lower limit to higher limit, what you would do, and then continuous function dx. If I choose between 3 to 4 any number, and every number has same probability, it is called uniform distribution. Then getting anything, if I draw in continuous manner, it will come, fx will come as 1. Whereas if I take discrete manner, then fx will be 1 by 100 if there are 100 numbers. If I have selected 3 to 400 different numbers, then getting any number probability is 1 by 100. If I talk in continuous manner, then I have divided into infinite parts. Okay, then selecting anything, what is the probability? It is 1. Means same probability of. This is the way we describe the continuous function. Discrete function is 1 by 100, where you have to divide into 100 part, n part. But if n tends, if you divide any section into n parts, then each part probability is 1 by n. But if you divide any section into infinite parts, n tends to infinity, then you are leading toward a continuous fashion. Then we talk in a fashion that any point, what is the probability of the selection? That is 1, same probability. Now we have x1 dx integration 3 to 4. That is the average what we expect. That is x square by 2. That is 3 to 4. That will be 16 by 2. 16 by 2 minus 9 by 2. That will come as 7 by 2. That will come as 3.5. This 3.5 is the average of getting between 3 and 4. Obvious, right? Okay, so now we will do 1 into 3.5. 1C0 for head 0. 1C0. P to the power 0. 1 minus P to the power 1. Okay, it will become 3.5 into 1 minus P to the power 1. 1 minus P. This is when head is 0. So when head is 1, then it will be, I have to select from 0 to 1. What is average of 0 to 1? If someone do like that, then x fx dx 0 to 1, it will x square by 2, it will come as 1 by 2, 0.5. 2 into 0.5, this will go away, n minus x will go away, 0. So 2 into 0.5, 1c1, 1, p to the power 1, that is gone. So it will become like 0.5 into p. So it will become like 0.5 into p into 3.5 into 1 minus p. This is the multiplication factor. This is the multiplication factor. This is the multiplication factor for the. This is the multiplication factor for the kind of multiplication factor for the one coin. Now, if someone adds it, because we want to add for everything, then he can multiply by n. So it will come as n into, and then in bracket. What is the bracket? 0.5 into 2 plus 1 minus p. I'm sorry, 0.5 into p plus 1 minus p into 3.5. That is the average what he would get. We will talk more on it. Okay, please do. It is really very difficult. Please do not mind supporting us. +91 is the India country code. 9483160610 is the telephone number. +91 is the India country code. 9483160610 is the telephone. It is very tedious. Okay, not mentioned in any of the books.